The hospital called to say my son died in surgery this morning. He's been dead for 3 years. The voice on the phone was professional, practiced in delivering devastating news. Mr. Novak, this is Dr. Prasad from St. Joseph's Medical Center. I'm calling about your son, Lucas Novak. I'm so sorry to inform you that he passed away during emergency surgery at 8:47 this morning. We need you to come to the hospital immediately. I was standing in my garage, wrench in hand, working on the motorcycle I'd bought after Lucas died. My way of feeling close to him since he'd loved bikes. The wrench clattered onto the concrete floor, the sound echoing in the empty space. My hands started shaking so badly I had to grab the workbench to stay upright. Lucas had died 3 years ago. I'd identified his body myself after the car accident. His face so damaged I'd recognized him only by the compass tattoo on his wrist, the one we'd gotten together on his 18th birthday. I'd carried his casket as a pallbearer, feeling the weight of my failure as a father with every step toward the grave. There must be some mistake, I managed to say, my voice coming out hoarse. My son Lucas died in 2021, car accident on Route 66. The silence on the other end stretched long enough that I wondered if I was having some kind of breakdown, if grief had finally broken something in my mind. Dr. Prasad cleared his throat. Sir, I'm looking at his chart right now. Lucas Novak, age 19, blood type O negative, birthmark on his left shoulder blade shaped like a crescent moon. He was brought in last night after a motorcycle accident. His emergency contact was listed as Michael Novak. This number, the birthmark. Nobody knew about that birthmark except family. Lucas used to joke it was his lucky charm, even though it hadn't brought him much luck in the end. My legs gave out, and I sat hard on the garage floor, oil stains and dirt beneath me, trying to process the impossible. That can't be. I buried my son. I have his death certificate. I visit his grave every Sunday. Dr. Prasad's voice softened, but there was something else there. Confusion, maybe suspicion. Mr. Novak, I understand this must be extremely confusing. Would you be able to come to the hospital? We need someone to make arrangements, and there are questions about identity that need to be resolved. My mind was fracturing, trying to reconcile what I knew with what I was hearing. Lucas was dead, had been for 3 years. I'd spent those years drowning in guilt about our last fight, about the words I'd said in anger, about how I'd failed him as a father. But this doctor was describing details only I would know, speaking about my son in the present tense, or at least the recent past. I drove to St. Joseph's in a haze, my truck on autopilot while my mind spiraled. The rational part of me knew this had to be some kind of mistake or cruel coincidence, but the father in me, the part that had never truly accepted Lucas's death, was screaming with impossible hope. The hospital smelled like every hospital, that mixture of antiseptic and human misery that had haunted me since Lucas's first death. Dr. Prasad met me at the information desk, a tall man with kind eyes that widened noticeably when he saw me. Later, I'd understand why. I looked exactly like an older version of the young man who died in his operating room. He led me through corridors that felt like a descent into madness, each step taking me closer to either shattering disappointment or impossible truth. Before we go in, he said, stopping outside a door marked Family Consultation Room, I need to prepare you. The young man who died this morning had significant facial injuries from the accident. Visual identification may be difficult. We're running DNA tests, but those take time. Can you tell me about any other identifying marks your son had? I listed them mechanically, each detail a knife twisting in old wounds, the scar on his right knee from when I'd tried teaching him to skateboard, the tattoo we'd gotten together, matching compasses because I'd told him that fathers and sons always need to find their way back to each other, the way his left pinky finger bent slightly inward from when we'd played catch and I'd thrown too hard. Dr. Prasad took notes, his expression growing more troubled with each detail I provided. Mr. Novak, all of those markers are present on our patient, but you said your son died 3 years ago. Do you have documentation of that death? I pulled out my phone with trembling fingers, showing him the photos I looked at every night before sleep, the death certificate, the funeral program, the news article about the accident that had killed Lucas and 2 others when a drunk driver ran a red light. Dr. Prasad studied each image carefully, then looked at me with an expression I couldn't read. I think you need to see him, he said quietly, but I should warn you, what you're about to experience will be extremely distressing, regardless of what the truth turns out to be. Full story on my channel and linked below.